On today's show, we're going to talk about a really important thing that we're finding in our practice: health insurance, health and dental coverage for your adult children. Now, what's happening right now in the last 6 months or so, we're finding is that a lot of our clients who have adult children, you know, they're graduating college, they're graduating university, they're coming out of school, they've been on mom and dad's health and dental plan for the past, 18 years of their lives. And now they're off it, Nicholas, and they're off it. And we're getting phone calls from mom and dad saying, hey, I had my child on the plan, no longer on it. He's self-employed. He's not working. He's working. So on today's show, we're going to get into how these health plans work for those between 18 and 35. So let's kind of get right into it right now. So what we're finding right now is we're having these conversations about a traditional health and dental plan. Most people don't know much about them, but you can buy them on an individual basis. So what are you seeing with guys that you're talking to?
Yeah, so a lot of my friends, including myself, just coming out of school, we're graduating, we don't have any type of health plan. So you have to self-fund. And you can get a really good self-funded plan. It's got prescription drugs, paramedical services, so things like massage, osteopath, chiropractic care, vision care, hearing aids, travel insurance like emergency medical. You got medical supplies, dental care, all these things are included, and it's really holistic.
Into the plan,
yeah,
right? So
totally.
It's amazing. I mean, I've had one of these plans for the past 20 years or so, and never regretted owning it. And I want to get into the plan in a bit more detail for our viewer and our listeners. So, you purchase the plan, we do the application, you're approved, obviously, and then you get the plan set up. And one of the big things in the plan people always ask us about is, how much coverage do I have for things like prescription drugs, things like that?
Totally. That's a big one too, I find, is prescription drugs. And so there's 3 tiers of plans. For reference sake, the most common one we see is the Core Plus. It's our middle tier plan. You get 80% coverage up to $10,000. Yeah. And that's just standard.
So think about that, right? So you're a person out there. I have the same plan, the Core Plus plan as well. So it's the middle plan.
Yep.
$10,000 a year. People say, I'll never use $10,000. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't know because you've been using your mom and dad's plan for the past 20 years, and you've never had to pay for a drug benefit in your life. But, you go in there for a prescription, whatever it may be, that prescription, which might have to run its course for 3 to 6 months, could be a $50 to $100 a month prescription. So, having 80% coverage, knowing that when you walk into the pharmacy, you've given them your drug card with the plan, and the pharmacist comes back and says you needed these 3 or 4 antibiotics for your cold, for your cough, whatever it may be, for your illness. The bill was $414, but here's the good news: 80% of your coverage was built in by the health plan.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fantastic.
It's a great amount.
And again, too, what's nice about these health plans is that you have your health card and you can just give it to your pharmacist. The second big feature in these health and dental plans are things that people don't typically use, Nicholas. And it's amazing to me is in these plans, you have these, what they're called paramedical services. So maybe just talk a little bit about what a paramedical service is in a health and dental plan.
Sometimes it can be misleading, but paramedical is, like I mentioned earlier, osteopath, chiropractic care, podiatrist, therapist, speech therapist, naturopath. So pretty much massage therapist, exactly. And the really good thing about this category is you get 100% coverage, up to $40 per visit, but you get $400 per paramedical service. So every time you go to the massage therapist, naturopath, you get $400 maximal per year.
So if you think about it this way, I know for a fact that every single year I try and use my chiropractic benefit. I go for some acupuncture, whatever it may be. I try and use the benefit. I make sure I look at the naturopathic benefit in some cases. The osteopathic benefit I'm using right now just to kind of reset my bones and my joints. But massage therapy, everybody and their brother or sister love going to the massage therapist. The problem is, it's $80 per visit, right?
Yeah.
So again, this one cover a portion. So, you're going to use those benefits. It's included into the plan. The next big thing here for all of us, and you've got your glasses on as so do I, is there's a vision care benefit as well.
Yeah, and it's fairly standard in the industry. Like I said, 100% coverage, maximum of 200 per person every 2 years. And, the every 2 years is standard. That's just how most plans are. But the good thing about, our plans that we can use is they're really holistic on the other side of things. Like we're talking about the prescription drugs, paramedical, even the dental care. We're finding we're more competitive dollar per dollar, and even the percentage of cover we're getting.
Exactly. So, with these plans, I'll give you an example, is these plans are all calendar years. So if you're out there and you're a consumer, you're a client of ours, and you're actually purchasing one of these and you buy them in April or May, right? You've got this benefit for the next, for the calendar year. And then come January 1 of 2023, everything gets reset again. So it's a great contract. There's lots more in the plan, lots more we can get into, but I want to get into the final point here, or one of the final points, which is the dental care benefit. Because again, it's one of those things we find. I've had a number of clients that because they don't have a health and dental plan, they don't go to the dentist. But we all know there's a benefit. You have to go to the dentist on a consistent basis to keep up with your cleanings and your treatment. So there's a dental benefit as well.
Yep. So we have 80% coverage for x-rays, cleanings, endodontic, periodontal, and oral surgery services. And the other good thing about this is you can add on major dental. So if you're expecting to have any type of major dental or restorative care, such as dentures in the long run, you can add that on and get coverage for that. But for the routine dental, you get about $750 per person per calendar year.
Absolutely. And what I'm finding is that because you have it, you go. If you don't have it, you don't go. Yeah. And with dental care, there's a cost benefit. I always say there's a penny of prevention, there's a pound of cure. Yeah. So if you go, the cleaning is going to be $200, but again, your plan is going to cover 80%. If you go and get a couple of cavities filled, again, $200 or $300. 80% coverage. Yep. You end up walking out of the dental office and the lady says, sir, your bill today was $500, but 80% of it's covered by the plan. So you walk out with a $100 bill payment, not too painful for the fact that you've now got your treatment done for 3 to 6 months. One of the other big things I want to get into too, Nicholas, on this plan is it's shocking to me how many people, again, when they get off their mom and dad's plan, they don't have out-of-country coverage. If you look at OHIP right now, OHIP is the Ontario Health Insurance Plan. OHIP is Ontario. So if you leave the province of Ontario, OHIP doesn't cover you. But the big issue, we're a border town. And if you head over to Buffalo for a night out on the town, something, God forbid, happens, your OHIP coverage doesn't cover. And this does have an out-of-country for up to $1 million.
Yeah, so you have $1 million, and you can get it in a 30, 60, or 90-day multi-trip. So let's just say went over the border, you watched the Buffalo Sabres game, it's a 1-day trip, you still got $1 million if you're there. But let's just say you went to Miami for about 14 days, got $1 million for that trip. You went home for a couple, you went back to, let's just say, British Columbia, or you went over to Europe, you got $1 million every trip up to a maximum, depending on 36 or 90 days.
So the plan that I have is it's a 30-day window. So if I leave the country for up to 30 days, I'm covered. If I'm going down to Florida for 2 months, I'd have to go for 30 days, fly back to reset the plan, or you could have the 60 or 90-day plan. So it's a really great contract. It's dollars a day. What we find is the average plan starts at $3, $3, $4, $5 a month or a day is the typical cost of this. For those out there that are self-employed, if you're self-employed, you've got a home business, you're a professional, you're in a you're as a T4A employee. It's a 100% tax deduction if you're self-employed. If you're an employee and your company doesn't have a health and dental plan, there is going to be a tax credit. So when you do your taxes at the end of the year, you look at your total premium paid, you'll submit that to your accountant. There's a deduction, and it could be 20, 30% of that back. But Nicholas, last key point here, let's talk about this real quick, is a lot of people say to me, I don't need it, I'm not going to get hurt, I'm not sick. But the one challenge is that if you ever had a prescription filled, and you come see us, it's a pre-existing condition, and it's not going to be covered. Yeah,
so during the underwriting, it's fairly simple underwriting. However, they do want to look at within the last 24-month interval. And unfortunately, if you've been taking any type of prescription drug, they're going to have that exempt. So you can't come with a need already. You have to be thinking farther ahead. You need it now. Maybe you don't need it as much now, but we see a lot of clients, unfortunately, who come through. They say, I really need the health plan. I see you got prescription drugs covered. What can I do? I'm on this prescription. And unfortunately, I have to be very transparent. We cannot provide coverage for already existing need.
We had a client come to us a month or two ago, wanted to buy a health and dental plan, was on a drug that's about $300 to $400 a month.
Yeah.
And if they had come prior to taking the drug, it would have been covered.
Yes.
So think about that. It's a $125 a month premium. The drug is $400 or $500 a month.
Yeah.
They'll be on it for 6 to 12 months anyway.
Yeah.
It was denied because the fact they were already using that benefit. So what I will say to people that are watching the video or hearing the podcast is, I've had the plan for my whole life, my whole adult life, basically. And I find that for every dollar I pay in premium, I probably push through about $2 to $3 in actual drug reimbursement. So it's never been a cost to me, and I can deduct it. And I've got peace of mind knowing that if myself or my family ever had a serious health condition and needed, a $500 a month drug benefit for the rest of my life, I've got the coverage. So again, for those out there, if you're self-employed, if you're out of school, if you're a recent graduate, if you're a student who's in university who doesn't have a plan with mom and dad, feel free to reach out, and we'd be more than happy to have a conversation and share how great these health and dental plans are.